Hello guys, now we will study the class 10th NCERT Democratic Politics chapter first power sharing. Under this chapter we will study about how the powers has been shared. It's talking about the government powers. Okay, so in the first paragraph we'll have the some overview in first paragraph. Under the overview, with this chapter we resume the tour of democracy that was started last year. We noted last year that in a democracy all power does not rest with any one organ of the government. Okay, so what it's saying कि इस जो chapter है, ठीक है, डेमोक्रेसी का जो हमने ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट किया था, मतलब लाइक इन क्लास 9th में जो आपने पढ़ा होगा उसी के सेम चीज़ को एक कंटिन्यूएशन है. और जैसे कि हम क्लास 9th में ये देखा गया था डेमोक्रेसी में कि जो भी पावर्स होते हैं वो किसी एक ऑर्गन पे नहीं होते हैं. लाइक जो इफ़ यू कैन रिकैप कि जो पावर्स होते हैं या जो पावर्स होते हैं दैट आर बेसिकली कैटेगराइज इन 3 फॉर्मेट. 1 लेजिस्लेटिव, एक्सिक्यूटिव एंड जुडिशरी. ठीक है, लेजिस्लेटिव प्लानिंग करता है, एक्सिक्यूटिव उसे एक्सिक्यूट करता है और एक्सिक्यूट करने से जुडिशरी उसे जज करता है कि ये सही है या नहीं. ठीक है, तो दिस एन इंटेलिजेंट शेयरिंग ऑफ द पावर अमॉन्ग लेजिस्लेचर, एक्सिक्यूटिव, जुडिशरी इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू डिज़ाइन ऑफ अ डेमोक्रेसी. ओके, व्हाट इट्स सेइंग कि एज वी अंडरस्टैंड डेमोक्रेसी का मतलब होता है कि वी द पीपल, ओके, टू द बाय द पीपल, टू द पीपल, फॉर द पीपल. मतलब जो भी चीज़ होंगी वो लोगों के द्वारा ही होंगी. तो अगर हम डेमोक्रेसी को मेंटेन करना चाहते हैं तो जो पावर शेयरिंग है वो लेजिस्लेचर, एक्सिक्यूटिव और जुडिशरी में ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है और ये बहुत अच्छे तरह से डिज़ाइन किया गया है. इन दिस एंड द नेक्स्ट 2 chapter वी कैरी दिस आइडिया ऑफ पावर शेयरिंग फॉरवर्ड. ओके, इन दिस 2 chapter like we are studying about the power sharing. Okay, and the upcoming chapter we will cover about the complete analysis of the power sharing. We start with the 2 stories of Belgium and Sri Lanka. Both these stories are about how democracies handle demands for power sharing. See, here what is saying ki here we will deal about the 2 story. One will be the Belgium or one will be of Sri Lanka. In both stories we will learn about the how democracies handle the demands for the power sharing, like how the powers is shared among the people or among the some government organ. The stories add some general conclusion about the need of power sharing in a democracy. Under this story we will came to know about the power sharing and some basic conclusion. This allow us to discuss various forms of power sharing that will taken up in the following 2 chapters. Okay, so from this we will understand about the power sharing, and this will give the complete analysis or complete understanding about the power sharing in this 2 chapters. Now we will study about the story Belgium in Sri Lanka. Belgium is a small country in Europe, smaller in area than the state of Haryana. Okay, Belgium एक country है जो यूरोप में लोकेटेड है और वो बहुत छोटा सा स्टेट है, जस्ट लाइक इंडिया में जो हरियाणा है उसी के अप्रॉक्सीमेट. It has borders with the France, Netherlands, Germany and the Luxembourg. Okay, so what it's saying, like the if we're talking about the Belgium which is located in Europe, so it is basically bordered with the some famous countries like France, Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. It has a population of a little over 1 crore, about half of the population of Haryana. So basically it's trying to understand and tell about the comparison between the Haryana and what is the population. It has a size of population which is more than 1 crore and which is the half of the population of Haryana. The ethnic composition of this small country is very complex. Of the country's total population, 59% lives in the Flemish region and speak Dutch language. So what it's saying ki in this country ethnic composition of some small country is very complex. Okay, like population 59%, those are people, those are living in the Flemish region and they speak the Dutch. Another 40% people lives in a Wallonia region and speak French. Remaining 1% of the Belgian speak German and in capital city Brussels. 80% people speak in French while 20% in Dutch. Okay, so what it's saying, the distribution of people, okay, the distribution of peoples, like ethnic composition in this country is very complex. Like the different categories of people, like different ethnic of people are living in a particular area, and they are living like if we talk about the French speaking people, they are living in a Bruxelles. Okay, same Dutch speaking people, they are living in a Flemish. So like this, peoples are get distributed, they are not living all together. The minority French speaking community was relatively rich and powerful. If we're talking about the minority people, okay, the minority peoples of this Belgium, they speak French, and they are the they are the rich and powerful community. This was resented by the Dutch speaking community, who got the benefit of economic development and the education much later. See what happened, initially the French speaking people were the minority, and they were the rich and powerful. Later what happened, it was substituted by the Dutch people, like Dutch speaking people, because they got economic development and the benefits. Now this led to the tensions between the Dutch speaking and the French speaking communities during the 1950s and 1960s. So what happens, see, obviously, take example, this is your country, okay, where you are living. Suppose this much area is divided for the French speaking people, and they are from the very older time of period. Suddenly what happens, some people came to your country and Dutch speaking, or they are already residing from the ancient time onward, but due to the economic development, they try to capture all this area. So obviously there will be conflict developed between Dutch and the French speaking people. The tension between the two communities was more acute in the Bruxelles. Bruxelles presented a special problem. The Dutch speaking people constituted a majority in a country, but a minority in the capital. What happened, between these two communities, the more uh, like Bruxelles was very acute thing, a small thing. Bruxelles presented a special problem. Like the Dutch speaking people, they were majority in a country but minority in a capital. If we're talking about the capital of Belgium, so Dutch speaking people were in a case of minority, but they were majority in the country. Let us compare this to the situation in another country. Sri Lanka is an island nation just a few kilometers off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. Okay, Sri Lanka is an island. We all know that is a beautiful island, and it is located with the southernmost southernmost. Like if we talk about India, here is a Sri Lanka island is located, and Tamil Nadu is, here is a Tamil Nadu. It is Chennai. Here is the Sri Lanka. It has about 2 crores people, about the same in Haryana. Like other nation in the South Asia region, Sri Lanka has a diverse population. Okay, what it's saying, like it has about 2 crore population. Talking about the Sri Lanka, it has 2 crore population, about the same in as in Haryana, just like a Haryana state. And Sri Lanka has a diverse population. The major social groups are the Sinhala speakers, 74%, Tamil speaker, and 18%. Among Tamils, there are two subgroups. Okay, what it's what it's saying, and what it's trying to tell us, like the division of people who are living in Sri Lanka, like Sinhala speakers, they are 74%, and Tamil speaker, they are 18%. Okay, among Tamils, there are two groups. Okay, the people who are Tamil speakers, they are the 18%, and they have two groups. Tamil natives of country, okay, are called the Sri Lanka Tamils. Okay, if we talk about the Tamil natives, the people who are native of the country, like Sri Lanka, they call the Sri Lankan Tamils, and they are the 13%. The rest, whose forefathers came from the India's plantation workers during colonial period, are called the Indian Tamils. Okay, we talk, if see what happened, basically the people who migrated from Tamil Nadu to the Sri Lanka, they are called the Indian Tamil, but the people who are already residing in Sri Lanka, they are known as Sri Lankan Tamils, and that their population is a 13%. As you can see from the map, Sri Lankan Tamils are concentrated in the northern and the eastern of the country. Okay, if we see the map, like take example, see, okay, it's I think is, yeah, Bruce Lee here. Yeah, Sri Lankan Tamil is orange one, and that is located in northern eastern part. Most of the Sinhala speaking peoples are Buddhists, while most of the Tamils are Hindus as or Muslim. Like the people who are speaking the Sinhala, they are basically Hindus or Muslim. There are about 7% of Christian who are both Tamil and Sinhala. Like what is the constitution of like regional religion, on the religion basis, like the 7% of the peoples are Christian, and they are located in they speak both Tamil and Sinhala. Just imagine what could happen in the situation like this in Belgium. The Dutch community could take advantage of its numeric majority and force it will on the French and the German speaking population. See, just imagine the situation like what will be happen just like a vacuum. Like Dutch community could take advantage of numeric majority, and they just impose the rule on the French speaking or German speaking population. This would blast the conflict among the communities further. Okay, so obviously there will be lots of conflict between the community. This could lead to a very messy partition of country, but both the sides would calm control over Bruce Lee. But both the side will be calm and like everything will be if there will be conflict, everything will be messy partition. Like in Sri Lanka, the Sinhala community enjoyed an even bigger majority and could impose its will on entire country. Now let us look at what happened in the both these countries. See, if we're talking about the in Sri Lanka's case, here Sinhalas are majority and they can rule on the other minorities people. Okay, but they are not in exactly. So now let's see what happening. Majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in 1948. The leaders of Sinhala community sought to secure dominance over government by the virtue of this their majority. Okay, like what happened? Sri Lanka was got independent in the 1948. Okay, the leaders who were the major community of the Sinhala, they just sought and secured the dominance over government. Like they cannot dominate us. As a result, the democratically elected government adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy. See what happened? Then government established one thing, a series whose name was given majoritarian, and it was established as a Sinhala supremacy. To establish the Sinhala supremacy, so the Sinhala can become the supremacy power. Now, in 1956, the act was passed to recognize Sinhala as the only official language. The disregarding Tamil, the government followed preferential policies that favor Sinhala application for university position and the government job. Basically what happened in 1956, an act was passed which recognizes the Sinhala only the official language, and this regarding, like, see, just imagine what will happen. Like if we are talking about the in context of India, there are more than peoples who are speaking different language, like more than 22 languages or even more than that. See, if some language get recognized as a regional language or national language, like here we can see the Sinhala was official language. Suppose a Marathi speaking peoples, okay, and the Maharashtrian speaking people who are speaking the Marathi language get official language. What will be the scenario of the Indian people? Now understand, the government follow the preferential policies that favor Sinhala application for university position and government jobs. Okay, so government was continuously in favor of Sinhala peoples, like they were giving the preferential in the policies, they were giving the preferential in the case of application universities, government jobs and anywhere. A new constitution stipulated that the states shall protect and the foster Buddhism. So what happened? A new constitution was formed in Sri Lanka. Okay, see, obviously if this much things will be happen, there will be obviously a conflict will be generated. So new constitution was stipulated, and that protected, fostered Buddhism. All these government measures coming one after other gradually increase the feeling of alienation among the Sri Lanka Tamils. Okay, so slowly government was improving, slowly government was trying to understand the people, slowly government was trying to make the policies for the people who are living in here. So gradually they increase, and the feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamil. They felt that none of the major political parties led by Buddhism Sinhala leader was sensitive to their language and culture. See, we're talking about, so what they felt that major political parties which were led by Buddhist Sinhala leaders, okay, their language and culture, they were none, okay, they felt none. So they felt that constitution and government policies denied them equal political rights, discriminated against them in getting jobs and other opportunities, and ignored their interest. Oh, sorry, I read the wrong line. Now moving to the continuing. All these government measures coming, okay, sorry, I was right. Government policies denied them equal political right and discriminated against them in getting jobs and other opportunities, and ignored them their interests. So basically what happened, government policies denied them to give the equal political right and discriminated against them getting the jobs and other opportunity ignored. So see just what will be the scenario. Okay, this much discrimination will happen in any of the religion, in any of the community. Obviously there will lots of conflict will be get generated. As a result, the relation between the Sinhala and Tamil communities strained over the time. Okay, so what happened, due to all this, the relation between Sinhala and Tamil community stay. The Sri Lankan Tamil launched parties and struggle for recognition of Tamil as official language for regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in the securing education and job. See what happened, the Sri Lankan Tamil people, government is continuously favoring the Sinhala's people, okay, Sinhala speaking people. So what happens, Sri Lankan Tamil people, they launched the parties, okay, and for the, in order to preserve the, in order to struggle for the recognition of Tamil as an official language for regional autonomy and so that people can get the equality or opportunity for the government job, in education they can secure the thing. Because see, if others official Sinhala will become the official language, obviously the people who are not familiar with the Sinhala or they are speaking the Tamil, so they will be in trouble. But their demand for the more autonomy to province populated by the Tamil was repeatedly denied. But their demand was not accepted because their provinces populated was denied. By 1980, several political organizations were formed demanding an independent Tamil Alam state in northern and eastern part of Sri Lanka. So what happened, by 1980s, several other organization was started, okay, and they formed for demanding independent Tamil Alam state. Like Sri Lanka, suppose as I introduced, just take map here. Yeah, see, just a minute. Yeah, see, as you can see, the in Tamil Sri Lanka, and this, if we include this part, this portion and this portion, they are the Tamil speaking. So these people are what, they are demanding the separate state, okay. By 1980, several political organizations were formed demanding that this we have completed, okay. The distrust between the two communities turned into widespread conflict, okay. The distrust between two communities, there were the distrust between two community, and this becomes so widespread because lots of conflict were happening. It soon turned into the civil war. Then this conflict turned into the civil war. As a result, thousands of people of both the communities have been killed, many families were forced to leave the country as refuse, and many more lost their livelihood. So what happened? So what was the result of the this civil war? Basically, what is the result of this conflict? This conflict turns into the civil war, and due to this, in the civil war, the many peoples or many communities have been killed. Many families were forced to leave the country. Okay, they become the refugee, or many people lost their livelihood. You have read chapter first of economic textbook 11 about the Sri Lanka's excellent record of economic development, education, health, but a civil war has caused a terrible setback to social, cultural and economic life of the country. It ended in 2009. See what it's saying कि if आपने क्लास 10th में चैप्टर फर्स्ट में इकोनॉमिक टेक्स्ट बुक में पढ़ा था कि श्रीलंका की जो इकोनॉमिक एजुकेशन और हेल्थ डेवलपमेंट अचीवमेंट है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा है, लेकिन सिविल वॉर की वजह से ये सारी चीज़ें ट्रैबल हो गई थी, ठीक है, टेरिबल हो गई थी, एंड सारी चीज़ें कल्चरली, सोशली, इकोनॉमिकली जो थी डेवलपमेंट वो सारी एक शट डाउन हो गई थी, और ये ख़त्म हो गया था एक तरह से 2009 तक, ठीक है. नाउ वी विल हैव द जस्ट लिटिल बिट जस्ट अ क्विक रिवीजन व्हाट वी स्टडीड हियर, व्हाट वाज द मोटिव ऑफ दिस. As see, we started the chapter was saying the power sharing. Under the power sharing we studied some overview. Okay, under the overview it just tell about the why democracy is important, what is democracy, and by this two example we will understand. One we saw about the Belgium and others we saw about Sri Lanka. Under the Belgium we saw there was the conflict between there was a between the French and Dutch speaking people. Okay, because earlier the French speaking peoples were in majority, but the Dutch speaking people, they economically started growing, they just trying to dominate the French speaking people. Similarly the same thing happened in case of Sri Lanka. If we talk about the Sri Lanka, what happened? The Sinhalese government was initially giving the initiation or giving the appreciation to the Sinhalese speaking people, but later the conflict turned between the Tamil speaking people and the Sinhalese speaking people, and this conflict turned into the Cold War. Okay, and due to this Cold War, a lots of destruction was happening. This destruction was not only in a one matter, like economic destruction, okay, social destruction, educational destruction, all this thing happen. Okay, so I hope you have understand this and enjoyed this class. And just what is the conclusion from this thing is just, if there is no particular functional authorities in our state, obviously the lots of destruction will be happen, lots of conflict will be happen. I hope you have understand this, enjoyed this class. We will come to the next class with the next topic.